based on where you are now, what do you need to do now? So I think that you need to ask yourself, does your current ESP, email service provider, does it provide SMS? I think that would be the first place to look. The problem that we've come across is that sometimes they do, but they don't really fit well with what you're trying to do. It depends on your platform. We have seen stores that are built on WooCommerce that are using Opt-in Monster as a pop-up, and they're using Klaviyo as an email service provider. That has caused issues because Opt-in Monster is not native to Klaviyo, and Klaviyo does not merge the profiles. So what that means is if you think that you're just going to add a phone number to a form from Opt-in Monster, and someone goes onto the website and they give you their phone number, Opt-in Monster has no way of letting Klaviyo know that that person was already opted in through email, and it's not going to merge the profiles. So you need to take that into consideration. I'm not saying that not to use Klaviyo. What I'm saying is you may need to change your pop-up, for example, to make that work. Then the question is, how are you going to deal with people who come onto your website that have already opted into email, right? So what are they going to see? How are you going to convince them? And like I mentioned in the beginning, there's pros and there's cons to all of this. So Klaviyo has incredible predictive analytics technology, right? Where it can turn around and predict when a person's going to make their next purchase based on either that person's behavior, and if they don't have enough data on that person's behavior, I mean, if the person hasn't purchased enough, but they have enough data from the whole database, they can use averages on that person. So using a post-purchase flow for someone using SMS means you're really gonna be able to hit them. The great thing about that is that when you do that, say that a person is scheduled, or you know that they're going to make their purchase every 3 months, and you hit them with either an email or an SMS or both, hopefully both, a week before their purchase, and you start nurturing that, you're taking them to the sale. That is going to increase the likelihood that they're not going to churn. The problem with churn is that people will go and they'll look for another brand, or another brand will get in front of them in an ad. And then if that brand has sold them a product that's a good product and with a good experience, the chances of you getting that person back are very slim. So some of the other things to consider: how are you collecting the phone numbers? Earlier, I was talking about how to collect phone numbers, right? How to get people to opt in. And every system is different. Klaviyo does not allow you to have the person consent to SMS marketing at checkout. You have to take them to an embedded form. It's different, right? I mean, you can do it. You just have to use an embedded form. You have to talk to your developers about that. Whereas I know, for example, PostScript has that capability. So you're going to want to take those things into consideration as well. MailChimp, as far as I know, is not using SMS as of the time of this recording. OmniSend does offer SMS. I know that OmniSend's system is very much like Klaviyo, but we have not had the opportunity to actually test their SMS system. So, but that may be a great option. So right now, you have to decide which is the provider that you're going to go with, right? And take a look and say, will it be Klaviyo? Are you on Klaviyo? Are you on OmniSend? Are you on, MailChimp? Is Klaviyo's SMS service robust enough for what I need? One of the issues that we had with Klaviyo was attribution. So you want to make sure that, because the way that Klaviyo does their attribution is it tracks what people do according to their profile that's connected directly to their email address, not their phone number. So if they have two different profiles and one with a phone number, you're not going to know what your attribution is. That's a problem. So you're going to want to look at all of these things. The other thing is your pop-up, right? More often than not, most of the successful stories out there have an email pop-up, right? They usually have a shadow box and they're offering you something in return for your email address. Um, you need to even if you're not doing SMS marketing, it's our recommendation to include an optional phone number field there. Just put phone number and then in parentheses put optional, because you want to capture as many as you can. In a year or two, you're going to regret not having done that now. So it's definitely worth doing. Measuring the conversion on your pop-up is super important. You're going to want to look at your pop-up and you're going to want to say, okay, right now it's converting at 4%. We added the optional thing. It's not conversions dropped to 2%. In that case, you take it off, create a secondary pop-up, do whatever you have to do, right? But make sure that you're measuring that. And then the third question is, who's going to run your SMS? I know a lot of people out there already have the experience that running email marketing, they thought it was going to be easy. They figured, let's curate some content, or let's just throw on an email real quick, drag and drop, and we'll send it out. And it doesn't really work well that way. You really need a process there. You really need, with SMS, you're really going to need a good copywriter, someone who really is going to know your brand. You should have a calendar just like you do for email, just like you do for social media, so that you're aware of everything that you're doing, and it's a cohesive strategy, really. So, if you have the time to do it yourself, that's great. But really, you have to decide now, like, okay, well, who's going to be in charge of this, and do they have the skills to do this?